Hey guys, and welcome to a new video. Today I have a very special person with me, and his name, I mean, you probably know him, and I'm actually super happy to meet him alive, I would say. Is that actually a bad joke? I guess so. But with me today is Mr. ZIZARAN. Hello, sir.
Hello, how are you doing?
Quite fine, I would say. A little bit nervous, you know, like talking to some VIP members of the Path of Exile community makes me like, whew. But yeah, anyway, so
Pretty big on YouTube. You're
yeah,
pretty huge.
that's what she said, basically. No, so basically the main idea is you guys have a very insane idea. So I heard like some birds were tweeting me about a racing gauntlet that you guys are doing. No, wait, no birds, but I actually read it. But so I wondering have all the information because I am a softcore trading player, right? Most of my viewers are softcore trading players, like, you know, and the thing is, I think the idea of this racing gauntlet is like so insane, and I'm like super hyped to hear more about it, and actually super hyped to actually join that race. So what is this all about, please?
So this is something that's been people have been doing this since the dawn of private leagues. And for those of you who don't know, GDD have a private league system where you can buy your own league and you can put on certain modifiers for it. And Tencent on the China servers have been doing like 2 races now like this, which is every damage mod enabled. And a lot of people wanted like a big event like this on our servers. So that's what we're doing. The rules are going to be slightly different than the China one. We've like gotten feedback and improvement from like watching them do their events. So we're taking it a little step further with making the points better. But yeah, it's every damage mod on the private league enabled. So that includes quad damage mods like extra as elemental 3 times. So I think it's 90% more damage as elemental, 20% global more damage, faster attack, cast speed, and movement speed, and the most dangerous one, monsters fire 2 additional projectiles, which is insane, especially while leveling.
Oh shit.
And you have all players have more minus 40% all resist. That includes chaos as well. So it's an insane event. It's insanely dangerous. And honestly, over 90% quit before Act 2. Um,
I mean, to just
and
understand this real quick, it's hardcore solo self-found, right?
yeah,
And there is like when you start on the Twilight Strand, before you pick up your weapon, before you kill the first zombie, is basically every monster in the entire world, raid class, whatever, has these damage modifiers, additional projectiles, like everything enabled.
even Hillock.
So it is a highly likely that Hillock just one-shots you, basically, right?
Yeah. So there is actually a big chance that Hillock kills you. If you're playing a melee character, um, you basically have to run around him counterclockwise. So I made a quick video doing like an introduction to the Gauntlet for new players, specifically because so many players quit early on. Act 1 and Act 2, Weaver in particular, are just so insane. And I think that's very demotivating. You have a lot of people that are coming over from softcore. They're maybe not familiar with hardcore to begin with, and then they're being thrust into like all these insane mods. Like, you know, Hillock is killing them. You walk out on the Twilight Strand or on the coast, and the cannibals one-shot you always. So the strat for the coast is just to run through it. But if you're like you're trying to play it careful, you're going to die there. So I made like a quick intro video on that, like explaining a little bit more how to like beat Act 1 and 2. Because honestly, they're the hardest parts. Once you get past Weaver and into Act 3, the game gets noticeably easier and easier, and it becomes a lot more similar to the base game.
Okay.
There are a few bosses, right? Like Dodri, Malachi, and a few things like that. They're still insane. Anything with projectiles, you got to be really careful.
They are
You
even
got
hard
to
in
use the
softcore,
decoy
just
totem.
saying.
Exactly, right? So
Yeah.
it's not the kind of league where you can just corpse rush something down.
Hmm?
Um, but I feel with like a little bit of help and people knowing that Act 1 and 2 is the hardest, that helps a lot. Because once you get to maps, right? All these mods, they're enabled in maps as well. But you can just run them without rolling them, and then they're kind of like running an alch map anyway.
True, yeah, because damage mods are always like on alch maps, whatever, like that shouldn't be like the biggest deal once you hit
Yeah.
mapping. But as you said, like most people give up. Like I think it's going to be quite insane just seeing, like, for me personally, I got a spot already in the league, and I'm like, I couldn't, like, I don't want to wait anymore. I would just like start right away, because I just think that this whole event like should be so amazing. It's going to be frustrating for sure, because like as a softcore player, I think like, I have done Cyrus like multiple times and know what, and I think like once I will die on like Hillock for the first time, I will wake up and be like, holy shit, that's actually quite hard. So it's going to be quite interesting on how many characters will I be able to finish Act 1 with, basically, right? And since it's softcore
it's
and
very
like
intense.
Trade League and hardcore solo self-found, basically you have to find everything yourself anyways to get your stuff going.
The really nice thing in this race is that we have harvest. Honestly, that makes a huge difference, and I think and I think combined with explaining everybody how hard Act 1 and Act 2 is, especially on top of harvest, I think we're going to see a record amount of players actually make it to Act 5 plus. The fact that you can now resist cap in Act 2, and that's including the -40 resist, because you definitely help Alira just for the resist, and then you end up taking some resist nodes, and like you fully craft, like you just do spam harvest, you overlevel a lot, and you resist cap in Act 2, then it helps so much. It's incredible.
All right.
So it's something I'm very, very excited for, and I'm overwhelmed by the community response to this, because when me and Vera were talking and preparing the event, we were hoping for like maybe $4,000 or $5,000, and it's now at like 13 or 14,000. It's like
Holy shit.
very, very huge amount.
Well, that basically shows how the community is interested in that, right? Because for me as a player, basically, when I started PoE like in 3.0 or so, I've only participated in one single race yet, and that was, I think it was Synthesis hardcore like flashback or something, right? And to be honest, I played hardcore solo self-found for the first time ever, and I said like for fun on stream, like, you know what, let's just make one character until it dies and whatever, Dude, I was hooked for like 2 weeks. I've ripped 15 characters to was actually able once to get to level 90, and I was so fucking proud of myself. And I had just had a super awesome time, and I just feel sad every time when a league is like dying in terms of trade league, basically, right? Like there's so many trade players that would like to have a race in the end of a league just to like kill the time where the league is dead until the new league starts, right? And this is like the perfect time right now when you guys are making this Gauntlet that is starting on this Saturday, I think, right? Friday?
Saturday, yeah.
Saturday, right? So how can people actually join?
So tomorrow, so that's Thursday at 3 p.m. BST or UK time. There'll be invite links going up in my channel on Twitch. It'll be in the community racing Discord and everything like that. And it's basically click apply as soon as you can. It'll go very quickly. I'm expecting it'll be filled within 30 minutes or an hour, so you don't want to miss it. If you join before that, sadly, because of how the website works, you will end up not being able to join the event at all, because we have to forcibly remove the person. Like we can't accept through that, that application. So it bugs out the entire process.
So guys, you heard it. Don't come too fast, right?
Exactly. That's the one. But yeah, no, I'm very, very excited. And like you said, hardcore and SSF hardcore is a whole different experience. So it feels for me a bit like playing a roguelike game.
Yeah.
So it's always exciting when more and more softcore players play it out, or it's always exciting when more softcore players try it out and join us there.
And I do hope that a lot of people will actually join this, because it's going to be super cool anyways.
I've always really hated like the hardcore softcore elitism. Like, just we're all playing the same game, right? Everybody just wants to have fun. Don't shit on people because of the way they enjoy the game.
Exactly.
So
and with all these modifiers, it will be even more interesting. So
exactly, it's a lot of fun.
this whole event gets like crowdfunded by the community. I've seen like, I don't want to like stretch this out too long. There's just like all the links that are interesting, like a countdown for joining the league and stuff like that. How you can donate actually to help fundraising, all of that, right? Will be given in the description below, as well as ZIZARAN'S YouTube, Twitch, like all the information you need for this event will be listed in the description below, just to make that clear here. And you can actually like, there is like crowdfunded, right? So that means what happens to the money actually that people are donating to fund this entire league, basically?
I'm gonna buy a really big TV. No, so what happens is it goes into a PayPal pool, and we've made that fully transparent so you can see everything. And then 95% is going to the prize pool, 5% is going to pay the developers that are waking. For those of you who are new to this, it's we have like a few community developers who do, for example, PoE-racing. We have casting tools for when we do those races. So 5% is going to that, and then me and Vero, who are organizing the event, is keeping 0%. So yeah,
Like
95% is
after
going
the
to the
TV, you
pool.
mean?
Exactly. And GGG is putting in $500 worth of microtransactions as well to help it out.
All right, that sounds super awesome. So how do you actually, is it like a ladder, or what is basically, if you said like, hey, if there is 1,000 players, probably 800 of those will not even be able to get to Act 3, basically, right? So is there like a point system? Is there like how can I know that I'm like top 10? You know, like.
Yeah, so that will be available on PoE Racing. We do have a point system, so you can see. We have a point system where, for example, you get 1 point per level, right? So just getting to
Mhm.
level 90, you get 90 points. At level 99, you get 2 points and 3 points for level 100. We might change that a little bit in the first future, like, maybe give more points for higher levels like 98, 99, 100. But we're playing around with it, right? It'll
Mhm.
be exciting with some changes anyway. And then we have any delve boss is 1 point. The reason we didn't do specifics there is finding any delve boss, that's pretty doable. Whereas finding a specific one, very, very RNG and very hard.
Yeah.
And we didn't want to punish people for that. So it's just any delve boss limited to 1 point. Then you have Elder and Shaper are 2 points. Adziri is 1 point. Oshabi is 2 points. Uber Elder and Uber Adziri is 4 points. And then any Awakener, so if you do Awakener level 0, is 2 points. However, if you're later or, ever able to do Awakener 8, that'll be 4 points total instead. So you don't
Mhm.
get 6 points for doing a lower one and a higher one, but if you are able to do Awakener 8, you get 4. So you can upgrade your 2 points to 2 more, basically.
All right.
And then Mastermind level 83 is going to be 2 points, and that is going to look hilarious because of the multiple projectiles.
I can, yeah, like multiple projectiles. Like usually I don't care about this mod at all, but in Delph League I tried the owl challenges, and when I had
Yeah.
an owl with multiple projectiles, that was like a suicide. That insanely hard,
Yeah,
and
it's incredible how much it does for the bosses and stuff, like,
as well
things
as
like
like in
Veritania and stuff.
questing, right? When you like level up, like Act 2, Act 3, I'm pretty sure there's a lot of bosses where I'm not even thinking about it, like when they have
Yeah.
+2 projectiles, that they are just going to be so freaking rippy, like it's going
The
to
the
be amazing.
problem the problem during leveling is Weaver. She one-shots you no matter what. I think there was somebody had 1,200 life for Weaver and got one shot.
Oh, it. I mean, gotta admit, I saw some of your videos, and especially because you're talking about certain aspects, like how to move around Hillock, for example, how to do Weaver and so on, right? Because you're always like pointing out Weaver so often, like, hey, if you never say like, hey, if you can complete Act 2, you should be easier or it should be fine because you're gonna be rescued and stuff. You always say like, if you survive Weaver, you have good chances, right?
Yeah, that's
So
it.
it's
No,
going to be.
honestly, after Weaver, I wouldn't say it's a breeze. It's still hard, but Weaver is like you might just randomly die.
All right. So that means basically I can just level up any tanky character and try to, let's say, kill Cyrus on Awakener 0 or 5, whatever it is, after he conquers. And then I'll be like, hey, next thing I want to do is kill Owl, for example, if I find him in the mine, if I ever go that deep. So I can just make a delving character, or is this like an account-wide point
So
system, or...
everything in this one is bound to one character, and you're not allowed to do anything like culling on different characters. Everything has to be on like the one character. So I can't, for example, make a separate boss killer like a Ball Lightning Saboteur,
Hmm?
do 90% of the boss, and then log back in on another character and cull it and finish it. That doesn't work in this.
So only like, okay, so what happens if I'm playing a Juggernaut Earthquake, whatever, like super tanky, and I manage to get to level 90, I would technically have 90 points, because level-wise, right? If I die then on level 90, will I just be locked down and be like, okay, the highest I've gotten is level 90, or do I need to be safe to say like, you know what, this level 90 character is still alive, I'm gonna to just make a new character so my 90 points stay alive? Or is it just like, once the character dies, you still have 90 points?
If you're like leading by 10 points and you're doing really well, but you really want to secure your win, so you try to do one more boss and you die, nobody like people don't need to pass you. You're gone from the ladder. It's like you never existed. You lose everything.
So you basically have to be like, okay, I hit level 90, I should be top 10, let's make a new character so my top 10 is kinda safe at the moment. So if my 90 dies, I'm like, as if I would start like today again. Holy shit.
You could do that.
Okay, so how do you actually see if people have managed to do something? Do we have like to record the boss kill and just upload it, or?
So the boss kill itself has to be recorded and submitted, and then in the guidelines we tell you what you need to record and show.
So basically, you just upload the clips on the PUE Racing Discord. Link is given in the description below as well. And then you get like checkmarked. But even if you get checkmarked, if your character dies afterwards, you just never did it, right?
That's it.
Holy shit, dude. That's
The reason we're doing it that punishing is to try to prevent people from like coasting. And I think it makes it like really, really interesting viewer events when it is that extreme. And that's what we're really going for with this event. I really miss the old racing events that everybody could join, because that was a lot more easy accessible for like software players and people that aren't that keen to race, but they still want to be participating. This is definitely more something for Twitch and, a spectacle event. But I would love to see like more something that everybody could join. Like Fall Guys, but for Path of Exile.
But it's like, I started in 3.0. That was like Harbinger League or something, right? I always hear people that are playing since like forever, basically, right? They're always telling me like that race, this race, basically Criparian's time back in the days with all the races and stuff, I was never really there to join all of that, but I would like always when I hear certain things like racing and stuff, I always get like hyped up. I'm like, I need to do this. Okay, anyway, so what happens then? Basically, you said there is a price structure basically where the amount of money that is like getting like together from the community basically will then get like split up amongst the first two places, or is it like?
So we have like a price structure linked in the document that explains everything. It's like 30% goes to first, second gets 20, third gets 10, and then all the way down to 10th gets 2%. And we have prices all the way to top 20.
Insane. I mean, to be honest, for me, and I guess for a lot of people too, what is our main reason to say like, you know what, let's skip the race, right? It's basically, well, there's professional racers like ZIZARAN, like Race QT, like Steel Mage, DS Lily. There's so many well-known names where you say like, well, Lily will probably win this one, ZIZARAN gets second, like, like I don't have a chance anyways, right? But the thing is like, it's better like to join it and actually try it out and actually feel the hardcore solo self-found race aspect, regardless if you can win something or not. And I think like something like that, the whole community event like brings the community together even more, and I would really, really like to see some more things like that in the future as well. And talking about that, is this like a one and the only thing, this race Gauntlet, or will there be like multiple towards all the leagues? Or
there's going to be a lot more events going forward. A lot more.
Looking forward to it.
And for what you said about, like, sure, there are like people who are, there are people who are streamers or do this for a living, and they have a crazy amount of hours. The problem is that those people who are competing, they can sometimes die 2 or 3 times and still have a decent chance of winning. If you're a solid Path of Exile player, even if you don't have as many hours, if you're over leveling, playing it slow, like similar to how Eat Up and Al-Kaiser would play back in the day, you have a really good chance if you don't die still to place in top 20. So
it doesn't even matter too much if you're starting late, because I'm gonna be in the mountains in the Alps. I booked like a house basically in the Alps for the next 2 days, so I'll be joining late anyways, right? But it doesn't mean that I have no chance of winning, because as we just learned, You know, might be Cizeran place 1, but, you know, if there is an expo chest or something, you know, there's somebody else first. That's it, you know?
Yeah.
Looking forward to it. Holy moly, dude. Can't wait, can't
It's gonna
wait.
be fun.
All right. Thanks for joining me and explaining more about this race, and I hope you guys will be joining us, basically, with this entire race, and big thank you to you, ZIZARAN, and the community, basically, for doing all of that, and I'm, like, super happy, and I'm just, yeah, leave it like that, basically. Guys,
Yeah,
thanks
thank
for...
you so much for having me, and keep kicking ass on both Twitch and YouTube.
Thank you very much. All right, guys, thanks for tuning in, thanks for watching, and see you on the next video, or on the race.